Theo Von is excited to share some big news with his fans. He's restocked all his favorite merchandise on his website, and he's got some new tour dates lined up, including stops in Chicago, Illinois, Fort Wayne, Indiana, and Miami, Florida.
But the real excitement is all about his guest, Tom Green, who's back in LA after a 4-year hiatus. Tom's been living on a farm in Canada, where he's developed a love for animals, particularly his mule, Fanny. He's been enjoying the peacefulness of the desert and the freedom to explore and create. Tom never thought he'd be a farmer, but he's loving the experience. He's always been an animal lover, and he's found a new sense of purpose in caring for his mule and other animals. He's also been enjoying the adventure of exploring the American Southwest in his van, discovering new places and meeting new people. Tom's fiancée Amanda is with him on this trip, and they're enjoying the experience of exploring LA together. Tom's love for adventure and the outdoors is evident in his photography. He's been capturing stunning images of the desert landscapes and sharing them on his social media. He's also been enjoying the quiet and peacefulness of the desert, which is a welcome change from the hustle and bustle of city life. Tom's journey has been a winding one, but he's found a new sense of purpose and happiness in his life.
Theo and Tom talked about their experiences with making content, and Tom shared his love for documenting things. He's been doing it since he was a kid, and it's something that's always brought him joy.
Tom's need for attention and desire to be the center of attention also played a role in his love for documenting things.
Theo can relate to Tom's desire to document his life, and he's been doing it himself through his podcast and social media.
Tom's documentary, This is the Tom Green Documentary, is a culmination of his years of documenting himself. He went through thousands of hours of footage, reliving his past and telling the story of his show and his experiences in LA. The documentary was a surreal experience for Tom, who had to confront his past and relive some of the crazy things he did.
Tom and Theo also talked about their experiences with Saturday Night Live.
Tom shared some stories about his time on the show, including a sketch he did with Will Ferrell, where they're both dressed as eagles. Tom thought it would be fun to go into the audience, so they flew into the audience and shifted chewing up carrots.
Theo thinks that's weird, and Tom agrees that maybe they should have just done the sketches that the writers had written.
Tom also talked about meeting Tom Hanks backstage at the show. He was sitting in the dark watching the show, and Tom made eye contact with him. Tom was already kind of nervous, and then he saw Tom Hanks watching, and he was like, "How did that eagle sketch go?" But then there was a big after party, and Tom Hanks was real nice, and he was hanging out talking to Tom's parents and stuff.
Tom and Theo also talked about their experiences with cancer.
Tom had to have one of his testicles removed, as well as some lymph nodes, but the cancer didn't spread, so he didn't have to have chemo.
Theo asked if Tom kept his testicle, and Tom says he did, but not indefinitely. He filmed the whole surgery for a show on MTV, and it's also on YouTube.
Tom's got a new special out on Amazon Prime called I Got a Mule, which is a stand-up comedy special about his life on a farm. He also has a 4-episode series called Tom Green Country and a country album called Home to the Country. He's currently on tour and will be performing in various cities across the US and Canada. Tom's YouTube channel features a lot of slice-of-life content, which is different from his usual fast-paced comedy. He likes to take people on a journey and show them the calm stillness of nature.
Theo agreed that people are desperate for this kind of content, as they're often overwhelmed by the fast pace of modern life.
Tom reflected on how he's always been a creator, always looking for ways to make people laugh and react.
He thanked Theo for having him on the show and invited him to visit his farm and pet his donkey. Theo also talked about his own experiences with making content, including a movie he's working on with David Spade. Tom asked if they had already shifted shooting, and Theo said they had 5 days left of filming. Tom offered words of encouragement, saying that Theo is in good hands with Spade, who has a lot of experience in the industry.
The conversation turned to politics, and Tom mentioned that discussing politics can be a quagmire, especially when you're a comedian who wants to make people laugh.
Theo agreed, saying that it's hard to choose a side without alienating half your audience.
Tom mentioned that as a Canadian, he's upset about Trump's tariffs and the idea of Canada becoming the 51st state.
Theo loves Canada and thinks it's bizarre that Trump would suggest such a thing. The conversation took a lighter turn when they talked about sports, specifically hockey fights. Tom mentioned that he enjoys watching hockey fights, and Theo agreed, saying that it's nice when countries don't get along a little bit in sports ed.
Tom was skeptical, asking if this was a parody site.
Theo assured him it was a real article, and they both discussed the absurdity of the law.
Tom also talked about his experience with intuitive archaeology, where he's learned to trust his instincts when searching for signs of ancient settlements in the desert. Tom shared a story about talking to an archaeologist who told him that there are still many undiscovered ancient sites in the desert, and that by using intuitive archaeology, people can tap into the energy of these places and find hidden ruins. Tom's got a lot of exciting projects coming up, and he's grateful for the opportunity to share them with his fans. He's always been a creator, always looking for ways to make people laugh and react, and he's excited to see what the future holds. To access to the detailed insights and summary of each topic discussed in the video, please subscribe to Quick Podcast Summaries on Spotify and Apple Podcasts with free trial and later, just for the price of candy in most places. Happy listening.